Brent.
Jeff.
We got a fun one this week.
Why does the show do this to me from time to time?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
No, honestly, spoiler alert. I liked this episode.
Yeah.
I had fun with this episode. That's about all I can say about this episode, though.
All right, and thanks for joining us.
That's literally going to be this show. No, anyway. Hey, guys out there with YouTube land, thank you guys so much for joining us. Jeff and I are about to record a podcast on the Babylon 5 Season 5 episode number 4, A View from the Gallery. A View from the Gallery.
The gallery. Hey, so last week we went 58 minutes, almost on the dot.
Okay, I set the over-under at an hour, and I went under. And we nailed it. Okay, what you got?
Well, I'm going to put the over-under at 58 minutes. Like, let's use last week as the bar.
I think that's being generous.
Yeah, I think it's going to be way under. If I was setting this blind, I'd put the over-under at 43 minutes.
Ooh, 43, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to go episode length for that one.
Okay. I would take the over on that one. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and this is I kind of feel like last week and then this week again, like I almost feel like we're shortchanging our viewers and listeners out there.
Really?
I really do. Well, because they come to us for the good in-depth breakdown and discussion about the whole thing, and then sometimes you don't get that.
Yeah, we can discuss what the show gives us. and we do. Last week there was some stuff, right? If you didn't stick around after the outro music, we did talk about a couple other things. So go back, check out the end of the episode.
I will say I can't say a majority, but for a good portion of our episodes, sometimes we do stick around after we stop recording and discuss the things that maybe were in our notes that didn't come up during our conversation. Get to during our conversation, because sometimes you make a note about something, but then as the conversation develops, you either bypass that thing, you never come to that particular topic, and it would just disrupt the entire thing to be like, or the show's running long and you gotta cut and move. So anyway, speaking of that, Jeff, we're gonna get into this. Recording an audio podcast. You guys out there, you're watching the behind the scenes footage of how Jeff and I record the show, and you guys get all the outtakes, you get all the bloopers, you get everything as it happens live. We don't put this one behind a paywall. We put this one out there for you guys to enjoy, to laugh with us, to laugh at us, and enjoy all the sorts of things. Please remember, as you're commenting down below, no spoilers. Jeff and I are so close to the end of this one, and we have maintained no spoilers so far. Let's keep that up. 18 more episodes to go, Jeff.
I know. So close.
More episodes to go. So with that, why don't we jump into this one? A View from the Gallery.
At least I should have buffed him just once.
Humans form communities.
And from that diversity comes a strength.
Now get the hell out of our galaxy!
The year is 2024.
The name of the podcast, Babylon 5.
For the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am the one who was.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I am the one who will be.
And we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time for you, the one who is.
That's right. Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters searching for the important messages that Babylon 5 is trying to tell us in its own unique way.
Yep, we're looking for those Babylon 5 messages, not the Star Trek messages. And since this is not a Star Trek podcast, we've decided that we will play the rule of 3. That limits us to only 3 references total to Star Trek during the entire episode.
That's it. 3. One of those plays. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
And if we make one of those, you're going to hear this sound that everybody loves.
Jeff, I want to do something different there.
Yeah.
Oh, why? This is how we make it, YouTube. Here we go. You ready? I want you to play the Aladdin drop one more time and then just go with me on it, okay?
Okay.
That's it. 3. One of those plays. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
And Jeff?
Yeah.
What will happen if we do make one of those Star Trek references?
Oh, people are going to hear this great sound.
That's right. because while we are most definitely not a Star Trek podcast, those references could slip in from time to time. And along with our game, The Rule of Three, there is another game we like to play at the end of this episode, or at the end of every episode, to tell you the truth, where we try to guess what next week's episode is going to be about based on title alone, never having read a description, never having seen it first, never really even looking at a thumbnail if we can avoid that. Well, this is the spot, Jeff, where it is time to play.
Time to pay the piper.
And this is where we revisit our prediction to see if we got it right. So, Jeff, what did you say A View from the Gallery was going to be about? And I'll tell you how close you were.
I thought this was going to be a Byron and the Telepaths episode, watching the day-to-day of the station and really focused on Byron's agenda.
Well, you got day-to-day of the station a little bit. Telepaths were in it. They weren't really watching much. So I'm going to give you 1/10 of a point.
That's very generous of you.
Yes. Oh, I tried.
What did you think?
Well, I said that this was going to be Star Trek's Lower Decks, or I said that this was going to be Babylon 5's Lower Decks episode, where we're going to catch some of the regular Joes on the station, and they're going to bump into the main characters from time to time as they go about their daily business. And it's just going to be that sort of show. Although I did say we were going to be watching from the top down because it's a view from the gallery, not like Lower Decks, like where we're looking up. And yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be about. A lot of regular Joes on the thing, maybe some dock workers. I thought there was going to be dock workers.
Much like my predictions in the past, specificity is what hurts you on this one. I'm going to give you 0.75 though, because it really was. It was the average Joes doing their day to day.
Yep.
And then you had to dive in and start trying to tell a story.
Yeah. Well, sometimes though, Jeff, my prediction is wrong, but in the details is where it turns out to be right. So
it's very true
for me both ways.
You gotta work it and find out what happens. But hey, if you don't know what we're talking about, if you haven't seen this episode for a while, if you've never seen it at all and are listening to us anyway, which is cool. Hey, Brent, why don't you remind us and let us know what A View from the Gallery was all about?
Well, Mack and Bo are two ordinary, everyday, blue-collar guys on Babylon 5. They're maintenance workers, the real heart and soul of the station. While people like Sheridan and DeLynn and Captain Lockley and Corwin are running around making decisions and pushing... While Sheridan and DeLynn and Lockley and Corwin are running around making decisions and pushing buttons, Bo and Mack are the guys that actually make the buttons do something. Well, one day while they're working, the crew gets word that some scout ships from an advanced race that is since the crew gets word that some scout ships from an unnamed advanced race are on their way to the station to see if Babylon 5 might be ripe for the conquering. Hey, Jeff, haven't we seen this episode already?
I think.
Didn't we do this once or twice? Anyway.
Couple. Yeah.
Well, Captain Lockley is concerned and wants to get President Sheridan and First Lady DeLynn off the station, just in case stuff goes down and there's not really a secret service on the station just yet. But also, we know Sheridan isn't going to want to leave because we know Sheridan pretty well by this point. Well, over a spoo sandwich, Mack and Bo discuss that, this is actually what they really like about Sheridan. He's not some kind of jerk from the office. He's an in the trenches sort of guy. Well, while they're enjoying their spoo sandwich and trying to figure out what it actually tastes like, there's not much time to finish it because they got to get back to work. Bo heads up to Med Lab to repair a faulty console, and we get a discussion of what it means to save an enemy. Dr. Franklin is all on board about saving an enemy, not because he's a physician and dedicated to the preservation of life, which is totally something Doctors McCoy, Crusher, Bashir, Phlox, and the like would have said. Nope. Dr. Franklin likes to save an enemy because his old man was saved by an enemy doctor, and Franklin just wanted to be like that enemy doctor. Well, elsewhere on the station, more repairs continue to follow as our main characters work in the background. Finally, the attack on the station actually begins. Mack and Bo wind up hiding out with Byron and the Telepaths, which is totally a great band name, by the way. that should be a t-shirt, Jeff. Babylon 5, Bo and the telepaths,
Holding the mic,
long
right? He's all.
hair. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Fabio, get on making that t-shirt for us, okay? Where was I? Oh, there we go. There we go. So Byron, I'm sorry. And while they're hiding out, Byron helps Bo fulfill a lifelong dream by basically mind walking him into a Starfury. By basically mind walking him into a Starfury pilot's brain mid-fight. And from there, it's a lot of pew, pew, pew. Eventually, they get out from hiding, and the station is attacked even more. They just happen to be passing by when Sheridan and Delenn at this moment are arguing about whether or not they're going to evacuate the station. And Sheridan grabs these two guys and tells them to escort Delenn to an escape pod. Well, Delenn, being the ever cool cat that she is, actually takes the time to get to know them on their walk and talk. She asks their names. She recognizes them as cast. She recognizes them as worker cast, and to totally convince them to disobey. And she totally convinces them to disobey orders from the president. Because, the only one who can actually override the orders of a president is, well, 2/3 of Congress, or like half the cabinet, or one president's wife. Well, it works out because shortly after, the White Star fleet arrives, and Bo and Mack woohoo and celebrate as they look out of a glass window in the floor or something. The White Stars make quick work of the invading ships, leaving Mack and Bo to realize they're going to have to be the ones to clean all of that up. Jeff, what did you think of this episode, A View from the Gallery?
Well, 2 episodes ago, we asked for a palate cleanser.
Yes.
And here it stands.
Fantastic. I'm not sure
Here it is.
why'd you give yourself a buzz?
Because that's a Star Trek reference.
Here it stands.
We're here to seek out new life. Well, there it sits. A Measure of a Man?
Oh. Wow. That is
Sorry.
a deep referential. That's not even a reference. That's an homage.
But no, it's fun. I liked it. But to me, I think that we're I don't know how much longer we're going to be suffering. Oh, that's a strong word. I don't know how long we're going to be feeling the effects of the cancellation that came up, right? 5-season
cancellation.
Arc. The what?
Canceled cancellation.
Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, right. 5-season arc canceled. Nope. New life at the last minute. I just wonder, like, how they can spend this much time on episodes like this and Paragon of Animals that are ripped from season 1. And like, here's your thing of the week and whatever, with a couple little seeds that'll probably grow into something.
We have 18 stories with these guys left. And this is, or at this point, 19 stories with these guys left. And this is what you choose to spend one of them on.
Yeah. It was fun. It was cool. I love this trope, right? Like all the episodes that do, it's great. It's great.
Yeah. Lower Decks is one of the best episodes of Next Generation. And
it's fantastic.
They made an entire series based off of Lower Decks.
Yeah.
It's one of the best.
Yeah. All in all, I love some of the leadership lessons in this one. But they're the same kind of leadership lessons that this episode in other series also have. It was kind of fun. That's my first thought on this one. What about you?
Yeah, I thought this was a fine episode. I did not hate this episode by any stretch of the imagination. I just didn't need it. It's fun. Maybe even it's a little bit of a feel-good episode, but that's really about it. Jeff, I'm going to spoil the rest of this episode for all of our listeners out there.
Already?
Yeah. I have one note. That's it.
Really?
One. Do you know the last time this happened where I went into an episode with one note? Do you know what episode
was that? The King? Was that the King Arthur episode?
Yes, a Late Delivery from Avalon. Here's the difference, though, for me with this one and Late Delivery from Avalon. Late Delivery pissed me off.
Yeah.
This one didn't piss me off. Like, but people hear me. I like this episode. Late Delivery from Avalon, I wanted to like that episode. It started off so well and then crashed and burned into really an emotional thing. Maybe I'll appreciate it much more on the second watch. But on this watch through, I was so disappointed with where it went because I loved the idea of what they started with. And then when we got the reality, it just, oh my God, it felt like a J.J. Abrams show all over again. This one didn't do that. This one was exactly what I thought it would be, front to end, or front to back. And it didn't make me mad. I would absolutely watch this one again. But as far as analyzing it and discussing it for 30, 45 minutes here on a podcast, Jeff, I'm afraid we're going to come up short this week, buddy. Unless you got a bunch of stuff and you're going to carry this. I just don't have it.
I have 9 notes on this one, but a lot of them are observations. Right. Let me read one. Just
okay,
it's
you do an observation. I'm going to react. Okay.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, they have the newer Starfuries now, along with the classic Starfuries.
Yep, that happened.
Yep. So that's cool. The station got rocked.
Yep, that happened.
Yep. Byron is no joke. He's really powerful.
Yep, that happened.
Okay, those are my observations. That's like half of my notes right there. I got a couple more that dive in a little bit, so I do have some stuff we can dive into.
Mine doesn't really
Let's start
dive
with you.
into much, but go ahead.
Let's start with you. Let's go into yours first.
Spoo. What does spoo actually taste like? And don't say chicken.
Bravari.
A Bravari. Is that while it's still in the bottle or when it's on the floor?
Yeah. They scoop it up. Maybe spoo is just like fermented and cultured Bravari.
I don't know. The fact it was on a sandwich I thought was really interesting because, Jeff, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I saw a clip from, it was either He-Man or She-Ra, but it was Skeletor. The clip was of Skeletor, and I know he was in both shows, right? This is from the 80s, right? Which we know JMS was writing on the show back then. But this person like brought Skeletor a bowl of spoo.
Really?
And Skeletor's like, I hate spoo. Spoo's awful. And, and so to see it pop up here again, it's fun.
I feel like the sandwich though was more of a tofu sort of a thing. It just looked like a slice right out of the container of tofu.
It was something else. I kind of wonder what it actually tastes like. It's got to be at least edible. If it's not delectable, it's at least edible. So
maybe it's like a fancy cheese, right? Or the Centauri who have a more refined palate are like this, but when Mack is eating it and he's had it a little bit and he knows he's shelled out some serious money, he's kind of like, yeah, it's all right. But Bo is just like, this tastes like gym socks. Yeah. I don't know why you would eat this.
Yeah. There are delicacies in this world where I feel like that. Things that are supposed to be real expensive. And I'm like, why are you eating this crap? This is awful. You know, frankly, I feel that way about most alcohol.
Really?
The amount of money that people pay for alcohol to drink it, and the response is, burns. Like, for that response, and you're going to pay that much money for it. I'm not a teetotaler, just so people know. And people like their alcohol. Awesome. More power to you. That's just Brent's opinion. I like my drinks a little cheaper and to taste a little better.
That's fair.
For those out there wondering, fruity flavored drinks are delicious.
I was just going to ask, are you an umbrella kind of guy? Pineapple?
I am a margarita man. I will tell you that.
Okay.
I love me a really good margarita, but it's not a strong. If the tequila is overriding in a margarita, I'm out. You know what? It's like when you drink a soda and the mix is off and you just get like all carbonation. That's what a margarita with too much tequila to me is like. It's like, like.
I think tequila is gross. I'm a bourbon Scotch guy.
Oof.
I love a good bourbon.
Yeah.
I'll usually take the Scotch with a little bit of water, and I'll usually take the bourbon on the rocks.
On the rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe some ginger beer in there. I like that quite a bit, but I had to like train myself to like and appreciate it. Cause at first it was just like, hey, let me try this thing. Oh my God, it tastes like fire.
Yes.
Who would drink this?
Yep. Yep. As a native born Kentuckian, I have a healthy respect for bourbon. Literally, if you've ever heard the phrase grandpa's old cough medicine, that's what it was. There's a little, your gums are hurting, they rub a little bit of bourbon on your gums back there. You know, and it would make you cough, but it'd cure you.
Yeah,
There's something.
it works. So I had a theory 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
3 weeks ago, about Captain Lockley.
Who, by the way, we saw her in the first episode. We didn't see her at all in the second episode. Did we see her last week?
Nope.
Okay, so 4 episodes in, we've only seen her half the episodes.
So far.
So main character, she is not. Okay, got it.
Yeah, one of the sidekicks. She's a Lanier. She's a Veer.
Yep.
And that's fine.
Oh,
that's
did
fine.
we replace Lanier with her?
Oh,
I miss Lanier. I want Lanier back. Go ahead.
But I had this whole theory about how she was going to kind of be a bad guy, like be a villain and be anti-Sheridan, all these things. And at the end, near the end, they left a little of that sort of open when they talked about, have you heard the rumors about the new captain? And Bo was like, hey, there was people who were fighting because they were told to fight, and then there were people who were fighting because they wanted to fight. And the rumor is Lockley's one of those. But first thing Lockley does after Corwin kind of gives her the breakdown is she's like, we need a life pod. We need the president and the first lady set up to go. If she was anti-Sheridan and wanted him dead, that would, like, she's at least doing her job. So a good chunk of my theory, I think, got killed in this one.
Yeah. Lockley strikes me as a person who was definitely on Clark's side, but because she is sworn to obey the orders of the president of Earth Force, and while she may have personally thought that he should have been the president and might have agreed with the policies and those sorts of things, I also think she would have obeyed the orders of President Santiago, or she did obey the orders of President Santiago.
Yeah.
Or if President Santiago's opponents had won, who were wildly on the other side, I think she would have obeyed orders more than went looking for a fight, and more than lining up with her own personal political beliefs. Like, that's just the way she strikes me.
Yeah. I liked how she just pulled her hair back into a ponytail. Like she didn't, and they did this with Ivanova also a couple times where it's like, we're not going to stop and go get beautiful. I got woke up and pulled into the CNC. This is who, and you're lucky I showed up dressed, which Ivanova didn't do one time, in her dream. But I liked that little touch. I liked Franklin in this one. There was a moment where I feel like he fought old Franklin in his brain when Bo was just like, well, why would you help these people? And he stops and he's like, why would I do that? And like in that moment, old Franklin is like, shut this guy down. Tell him how wrong he is. But the new Franklin was like, no, I'm going to open up. I'm going to be a little vulnerable here. Actually, like have a conversation with this guy.
The spot where he was talking about his dad, that event where he was rescued by an enemy doctor or saved by an enemy doctor, that happened way before Gropos.
Way before. Happened way before the Minbari War. Happened before the Dilgar War.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, because that was his inspiration for becoming a doctor. Like where he wasn't referencing something that happened during Gropos. Because I remember his dad, I was like, I didn't think his dad got captured during Gropos. But yeah. Okay. Just clarifying.
Literally,
I
my
feel
last.
with that, just with Franklin, I do feel like that would have been really good information in the episode Gropos.
Oh yeah.
Gropos was an episode that was designed to humanize Dr. Franklin. Right? It was designed to sympathize us with Dr. Franklin quite a bit. That bit of information, more than just, hey, my dad and I are fighting, but actually, no, Dad, I became a doctor because of this thing that happened to you. Like, his dad is still his inspiration.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think it would have been better served to be put there, because it does humanize Franklin quite a bit. Now,
Yeah,
still
yeah.
has some questionable moral standards, but
Gropos did not. It was not successful. I mean, Gropos' big win for me was it humanized and made me care about Kefir
yeah,
for eight minutes.
Yep.
You know, but it didn't do anything to make me. In fact, I think it pushed me back against Franklin even more because, like, oh my god! And of course, he's got this family, and of course, it's just. But yeah, this would have made a difference. I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, literally my last note. Well, I have two notes that I'll touch on, but one more of reference of substance. The one before, as I said, Byron's no joke. Like, he's really powerful. He said a thing in this one that he also said to Lita last week that I think is going to turn into something. When Bo was like, I really wonder, what it's like to be out there, piloting one of those Starfuries, doing this stuff. And he asked him, is that very important to you to know that? And he asked Lita, about the people helping with Garibaldi's stuff. Is that very important to you? And once they said yes, it was, he delivered. It's an observation. And then we got a Londo and Jakar scene that ended hilariously.
Yeah, a properly placed Londo and Jakar scene after what happened in a very long night of Londo and Malari.
Exactly. Now it makes sense.
Right.
They walked away. How long have those two been married? Ha ha ha. But it's a great observation Jakar made. They're talking about their childhoods, and Jakar observed that Londo never grew up. He just grew old. It's kind of a cool little addition to his character on there.
You know what it made me, what it reminded me of? The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it was Mighty Ducks. Maybe it wasn't the Mighty Ducks. I don't know. It was an episode where somebody was talking to somebody else who was basically Big Mr. Grumpy Puss. He was like, "Didn't you ever want this when you were a kid?" No, I was never a kid. I was just this. Maybe that wasn't Mighty Ducks. Maybe that was something else. Whatever. Somebody out there knows what I'm talking about.
And they've already told
With
us.
that cool. Vague of a reference. I never was a kid. Oh, well, okay. I wouldn't know. I was never a kid.
Right.
I think it might have been Mighty Ducks. It was maybe in the limo scene?
Maybe.
The limo scene when they went out on the ice in the first one.
And I do think if you're going to talk about anyone who was never a kid, like, that's Emilio.
Right. Emilio!
That's a reference a lot of people got.
I hope so, because if you didn't.
Yeah, you're missing out. You are missing out.
Mighty Ducks man, Emilio Estevez. All right.
Well, I think we're at that. Are we there already?
You know what? We're at the 27-minute mark, which you remember that episode Infection? This was the mark at Infection where the whole thing flipped and turned into a really good episode. So let's go, Jeff.
Let's make it happen. Brent, we've reached the part of the show where we boil this all down, see if the episode has any deep morals or messages to it. Maybe it's holding up a mirror to society or giving us hope that life will be better in the future. And at the same time, we also see how much does it deliver that message in its own unique Babylon 5 way. You're going to do that by rating the episode on a scale of 0 to 5 white stars to see how strong the message is and just how Babylon 5 it was delivered. So what do you got for us?
So, Jeff, this section is always real interesting to me because you can watch just about anything and pull a message from it.
Yep.
This is what I got out of it. This is you could do that with anything. Whether that piece of art intended for that to be a message or not. You can pull a life lesson. You can pull stuff like that out of it. That is not necessarily the type of message we're looking for here. We're not just looking for anything that you can pull out of it. You mentioned earlier, there's some really cool leadership stuff you can pull out of this. I think there's a ton of great leadership stuff. This, Jeff, would be an episode that would be rife for a Starfleet Leadership Academy treatment.
Totally.
It would. Which, by the way, if you guys don't know what that is, please go check out Jeff's other podcast, his actual Star Trek podcast, the Starfleet Leadership Academy, and you will be blessed. Don't you hit that buzzer. I am past that point. Anyway, so that being said, I want to dive into one of those leadership things because I do think that there is actually that here's how we define it, right? A deep, deep moral message, a mirror to society, or hope that things are going to get better in the future. Are we tackling an issue of our day? Are we really hitting up against a social issue, or are we talking about the fact that mankind can just be better? I don't think I don't think any messages I pull can really catch that criteria, except for possibly this. But let's dive into it. There's a moment in this episode when Delenn takes a moment and asks the guys their name. She realizes in that moment that they're worker caste, and that she, John, Corwin, Garibaldi, Lockley, all of them, that everything that they're doing is actually for them. This is a callback to when they reinstituted the Great Council, and she doubled the amount of worker caste by lessening the other two. She says, these are the guys we're actually serving. We exist to serve them, right? They are the ones who actually make things go. And in that moment, Delenn seems to recognize that. She takes it to heart, and later on, she honors them by remembering their name. That right there, Jeff, is a huge leadership lesson that I'm sure you could dive into. Those of you who are listening to the audio podcast later, not the video podcast on YouTube, Jeff is just nodding his head up and down going, oh, yeah, like Kool-Aid.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's massive.
Absolutely. But is that a deep moral message? No. Is it a mirror to society? Not really. Is it giving us hope for the future? No. However, I do think it reminds us, and I think it reinforces us, and I think it reinforces for us something that Babylon 5 has already talked about, which is the idea of recognizing the little guys and recognizing who it is that government works for. If I were to talk about that, that's where I would say that this goes. It's not a deep moral message. Is it the mirror to society? I would say yes, in that it's kind of the way it should be, in that so many times our government, specifically, because we're dealing with a president here and a first lady and commander of the station, which is still government, right? Let's call the commander of the station the Speaker of the House, right? Like that's where we are. We're physically running stuff. They work to serve us, the people who actually make things run. It's not the bosses. It's not the bigwigs. We don't live to serve them. In a moment when these men were supposed to be serving the president's wife or serving the president himself by getting his wife off the station, they stopped to remind us that it's actually them who serve us. And we would all do well to remember and respect that. Now, that in and of itself, Jeff, is a leadership lesson you can apply to businesses or leadership situations anywhere. However, that is the best thing I can pull out of this episode as far as any sort of a White Star, Delta, Starfury, anything out of this whole episode is just a reminder, a view that those people exist to serve us, and you would do well to remember their names. I'm going to give this one White Star.
It's a huge message. And you're right. I could do an entire episode of the Starfleet Leadership Academy Absolutely. On that alone. As a leader, a person in a job where I'm actively leading many people, one of the most powerful things I can possibly do is walk up to a person who's showing up and doing their job and say, hey, Drew, how's it going? Tell me about this thing in your life that you've shared with me before. Yeah. In that 5-minute conversation, I have changed dude's life. Not because being a leader makes you anything special or anything like that, but just by virtue of your position and the way our society holds those positions and those titles in a way.
Yep.
There's power in that recognition.
Yeah.
What I would offer. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's a reason why, Jeff, one of the things that I love about this show, and you and I say this all the time, you and I are just two knuckleheads who happen to have microphones and access to a computer. We put this out there. It's why I try to take time to get to know the people that listen to this show, because we exist for them, not them for us. And I think of our friends, Alyssa and Delyn and Chris. And I'm gonna stop naming names because I'm gonna not name somebody and then they're gonna get offended. But
Well, we would be remiss if we didn't specifically name Nia, because all of this, we all exist because Nia allows it and makes it so.
Allow you to say Nia. Yes, no, absolutely. Nia is one for sure. Nikoko, I think, is a name on YouTube. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but anyway, all of you guys out there, like when Jeff and I, you guys don't understand the amount of comments between podcast, YouTube, Twitter, Patreon, and Discord that Jeff and I are in. And Jeff and I make a legit effort to comment on, to respond and have those conversations, because we want to recognize and respect our listeners out there who take the time to comment and say, we can't get to everybody every single week. It's impossible. But yeah, we're with them.
Very much so. We are their worker cast, or I don't know, something like that. Or I don't know. We're all a cast. We all help each other, but
right.
We're here for you.
Yeah.
But I think what I got out of this one, in addition to that, was near the end, where Mack is kind of complaining a little bit, right? So the day is saved, everything's awesome. And he's like, yep. So they go off, they get to do they're celebrated, they're going to get all the glory. And then they turn the corner and there's just this whole landing bay filled with dead bodies.
Yeah.
Franklin's going body to body, kind of, pulling the blanket over their face. And I think that perspective of the grass is not always greener on the other side. Yeah, you're the person who has to go to Brown sector and do the work in Brown sector, and that's awful. You're the one who has to come in during a battle and get the secondary system online because a bug that made it through, the food stuff a year ago got through everything. And those are not what we would consider glorious jobs. But I think without those jobs, nothing else can happen. And sure, that Starfury pilot, going to be celebrated, gets medals, people know their name, whatever. If you're Marcus, people know your name.
Are going to build a statue to Marcus, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's never going to be a statue for Bo or Mack.
No.
But that doesn't mean they're not equally as important. And it's a question of the price you pay, the value you offer, and all of those pieces. And that price you pay has been a theme throughout Babylon 5. We talked about it in season 4 a lot in terms of power, the cost, the price of power. We see it again here. Yeah, you're going to get glory for these things. Also, you died. And trading that off. That last scene, it hit me especially hard. Like I saw it on my first watch through, but when I watched it the second time, it really hit where I'm just like, oh, this is the message. That just because you're worker cast or whatever doesn't mean you're any less important, less critical, less vital. In fact, I would go a step further. The show didn't say this, but I'll say it. Maybe we should be celebrating those people. Maybe that team who shows up every Friday morning outside my house at 6:42 a.m. to pick up my garbage.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be celebrating them a whole lot more, because I don't know what I would do without them. So that's kind of what I got out of this one.
Yeah. The one thought I had out of that, and I didn't. Yeah, I'll go there. I have said multiple times that I run in a lot of circles that deal with a lot of physicians. Specifically physicians. One thing we love to celebrate in this country are our nurses, the ones that do the work, that get the job done. And if anybody's confused about any sort of division of labor, typically within the medical community, the doctor goes in, the doctor makes decisions, the doctor writes orders, and then the doctor leaves and the nurse executes the orders. That's at a very base level, that's the division of labor there. The nurses 1000% deserve to be celebrated and honored for the work they do, because a lot of times it is It's not glorious, for sure. From the physician side of it, though, the physicians are the ones who are making the decisions. The physicians are the ones who are making life and death decisions every day. Life and death. That is the importance. That is the weight of what they are making. And that final scene reminded me of that idea where, yes, what Mack and Bo do every day, they're the ones that make, when Corwin pushes that button, they're the one that makes that button do something. That it is 100%, that is something that needs to be done. And that should be celebrated and that should be honored. However, the weight and gravity of those who make decisions, particularly life and death decisions, they have to live with those decisions and the results of those decisions as well, as we saw on full display in that final shot of the episode. That takes nothing away from the nurses. That takes nothing away from the worker cast. That takes nothing away from Bo and Mack. It also highlights the gravity of the leadership role, of that decision-making role, and what that can actually mean.
Yeah.
It's a both. It's a both. It's not either one. It's a both.
It's an all, really.
Yes.
Like everything that people do matters.
You know, there's a great there's a great, it's one of my favorite pieces out there. It's like, you know, for a body, not every body part can be the head. Some parts need to be a hand. Some parts need to be a foot. And the foot doesn't say, why am I the lowly foot? Why am I the one that everybody steps on? What happens if we don't have feet? It's a necessary part.
You know what part I don't want to be, but I'm thankful for every day is the colon. I would not want to be a colon, but man, thank God it's there doing its job.
Exactly. And when it's not doing its job, bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
We're all part, you know, you're all a part of the body. And we can't all be the head.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, with that, you know what else we do on these episodes?
What? I thought we were done.
We are creating a list, an accurate list, a completely 100% definitively correct list, ranking the episodes of season 5 of Babylon 5. Jeff, your turn is to place this particular episode in its spot. Our top 3 episodes, because that's all we really have so far, are number 1, The Very Long Night of Londo Mollari, number 2, No Compromises, and number 3, Paragon of Animals. Jeff, where do you place this one, A View from the Gallery?
This one is not hard for me. The Very Long Night of Londo Mollari, I think, will stay in that top spot. That is the episode to beat, right? Like, it's there until something comes
Phenomenal
along.
episode.
Yeah. Huge to knock it down.
Yeah.
I will not be surprised if we get to the end of this season and it is in the top 2 or 3 spots at the very end. No Compromises, great season opener. It was fun. I think it was your favorite season opener so far.
Yep.
My second or third, but still great season opener. Paragon of Animals, not a fantastic episode.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad, not fantastic. So I take this one and I ask myself, which one would I watch again? And it's this one. So this is going to be our new number 3.
You could have placed this at 3 or 4, and I couldn't have argued with you. Like, you would have been right either way. But I happen to agree with this particular nuance. I would rather watch this one over Paragon of Animals again. So,
yeah,
I concur, sir.
Excellent. Well, that's it for A View from the Gallery. Next week, we're going to be watching Learning Curve for the first time. We've never seen these episodes before. We don't look at thumbnails as much as we can avoid it. We don't look at synopses, descriptions, or anything. And the fun prediction game we like to play that we eventually next week will call
Time to Pay the Piper
is guessing and predicting what the next episode will be about based on the title alone. So, Brent, you get to go first. What do you think Learning Curve is going to be about?
I think this is one of those nail on the head type episodes. I'm going to go with Lockley specifically, although everything I'm about to say could be Sheridan as well. Could be Garibaldi, frankly. What I'm saying is, or maybe it's all 3 of them. We've got people, even Delenn. All of our people, with the exception of Londo and Jakar, maybe even Jakar, they all have new jobs this season. They're all in new roles. And there's a learning curve that comes with that kind of stuff where you're not doing your job very well. Your job is very difficult. And there's a learning curve. And as you learn it while you're on the job, you get better at it and it doesn't become as hard. I think this is an episode about that. I think we're going to stay in these sort of mundane, episodic type things for a while, and I think that's it. Lockley's trying to get a handle on running Babylon 5. That's hard. Sheridan's trying to be president. Garibaldi's trying to do this covert operations thing, whatever that's going on. Jakar's trying to write constitutions and be the Secretary of State, which seems like what he's trying to do. Londo's being Londo. I don't know. Londo's going to go be emperor. It's something. We haven't had Londo go be an emperor yet. That's supposed to happen early this year. So that's my guess. Jeff, what do you got?
Well, you can get my whole guess on this one in the 22nd episode of the Starfleet Leadership Academy with the same name, Learning Curve. Has nothing to do with this one. That's a whole different episode. I am really almost beat for beat, the same for you. What I think this one is going to be, it's going to be focused on Lockley, learning the station, but I think it's going to be really focused on the division of duties, or kind of the division of stuff between her and Sheridan. And it's going to start kind of patching that road together for their conflict, and where we really get some more information about her role in the Earth Civil War.
All right.
We'll find out right here next week. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. Leave us a rating and a review, and please share this podcast with someone who either already loves Babylon 5 or is just waiting to fall in love with this incredible series. So until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, man. What's up?
So what did you think of the edit I had this week for the Brent watches? Because this was a tough one.
I think it was kind of like spoo, to be honest.
Spoo.
Yeah, tastes like chicken.
Get the hell out of here.
Initiating getting the hell out of here maneuver.
We're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
It's about something.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you heard Jeff say earlier in this episode to stick around after the episode, because sometimes we talk about stuff, that's where we are. We spent our entire wad on this one.
Yeah.
That's a gross analogy, but
it is gross, but it's pretty. Although I had a thought that I don't have in my notes.
What's that?
That the outro just made me think of.
What's that?
That little run they did on Ivanova, when they were like, hey, did you hear about Ivanova? Everybody's got a thought about Ivanova.
Yeah.
I wonder what that was about.
Okay, so I have heard a little bit. By the way, if you have stuck around and you haven't turned it off just yet, congratulations. If this is your first time, you have now been inducted into the fabled Club 65. This is Club 65. This is what it is. It's the after show. Just a reminder for all of you guys who are new, maybe you've been around for a while. We don't talk about Club 65 outside of Club 65, outside of just saying 65. And that's our code word to each other to know that we're basically the people who watch to the end of the show. Because what happens is so many people watch. And right about the time Jeff and I start watching or start wrapping up, they jump off. Like we can see the dip. So for those of you who stay the course, this is for you.
You are a very special group.
And you're a part of the club. Show them the shirt again, Jeff. That's it.
Yeah, look at this bad boy.
You can get a neat shirt. Hey, Jeff's going to throw up the somewhere. Is it down there? Wherever he's going to put it. Yeah. It's bit.ly/B5 Club 65.
Yep.
Right.
Capital B, capital C.
Yes. Yes. You definitely want to make sure you do that, because it turns out capitalization matters, which I've never met any other URL where capitalization matters, but this one does apparently. Anyway, what was I saying before?
We're talking about Ivanova.
So apparently there's been some sort of confusion over why she left. Apparently Claudia Christian was under the impression they didn't want her back for season 5.
Really?
And the production, or at least JMS, was under the impression she didn't want to come back because of some sort of contract dispute. if I'm understanding it right, what it almost sounds to me like is Claudia's manager was putting up a fuss for more money, and he or she basically threw up this like block, and it resulted in her leaving the show and not getting renewed for season 5. Yeah.
Wow.
But Claudia was under the impression they didn't want her back, and the production was under the impression she didn't want to come back.
Huh.
That's my understanding. If anybody out there wants to give us the completely non-spoiler version of what happened out there, please do, because we can't go look it up right now.
Yeah.
You know, but I could that conversation though, Jeff,
is that
it sort of was like everybody has, because they gave 3 reasons. They said she wanted more money was one of the reasons. She left because she was brokenhearted over Marcus, or she wanted to be promoted to captain or something like that. Like it was sort of in that realm. And I was like, I wonder if that's another one of those many examples we've seen over the time where it feels like JMS is interpolating onto the script.
Yeah, kind of atting a little bit, just like, look at this.
So anyway, Jeff, you said 43 minutes.
Yeah, we
are over. No. You said 58.
That was my initial. Yeah, so I was going to say 43, but I wanted to use last week's as our benchmark.
Okay. Oh, no, so we're still there. We're still under.
Yeah.
Cuz I kept having 43. I was okay. There were 2 things that I kind of little diatribes I went on at the end cuz I was trying to push it over 43.
I had a feeling.
That's all I was trying to do. I was trying to push it over 43.
Like, I can do this. I can do this. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I could just not bring up the whole like sea of bodies at the end. I mean, it's interesting. Not
right.
Hit my over under, but it was important because, like we talked about before we went on mic, we these last weeks, this week, hopefully not next week's, but we'll see. Pretty short. I hope that no one feels like we're shortchanging people who are watching. Like, we still want to watch. We still want to do the analysis and look in. We're just working with what the episodes give us.
Sometimes there's just not. And the thing is here's the deal. Here's the deal, Club 65. Here's what Jeff and I know, because we've been on the other end of this. We've been on your side of this. When people are BSing. When people are fluffing. And I don't mean farting. I mean, just.
Oh, I was thinking something else, but we'll go with that one. Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
Okay.
Or if you do it on your DuckDuckGo browser and burn it afterwards.
I am not actually sure what you're talking about, but okay.
A lot of people are. You can read the comments. It's fun. It'll be
So
anyway, we're not fluffing. There's no fluffer in here.
Well, here's our rule, Jeff. This has been our rule since episode 1. The conversation will go as long as the conversation goes. There is no time limit. There was a long while, Jeff, where many of our episodes were over an hour and a half.
They're close to 2. A lot of them were close to 2 hours.
Because that's how long the conversation took. And we didn't even necessarily read all of our notes. We didn't like force all of our notes in. This happens to be an episode, the last 2 episodes really, where they went short. How long was Londo Malari? Very Long Night of Londo Malari. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I'll have to look it up.
It's okay. Yeah. So who knows if this next week learning curve is a big fun episode, then we're going to be there. Here's what I remember. And I remember people saying season 5 is kind of like season 1. It's the other side of the bell curve. And it kind of is feeling like that a little bit. Although I'm hoping I want to play season 5. Like season 4 didn't feel like this big drop off. Season 3 was certainly a high point.
Yeah.
Season 4 felt kind of like a drop off, but honestly, I think I personally prefer season 4 over season 3. That's just me. I could be wrong. I'll reassess that in the rewatch, but I feel like it's like if it's a bell curve, like you kind of got season 1 and you go up and then you crest and you come down, but you're not coming down. Like it's sort of right here and then it goes off. Like that's where I still want season 5 to be way higher than season 1, So
hour 45 was Londo Malari.
Hour and 45. There you go.
Yeah.
Close to 2 hours. Yeah. So that being said, Jeff, I'm good. You good?
We're going to hit the under on this one.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, you guys, thanks so much for joining us. And Remember in your comments down below, no spoilers, like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you guys on probably Wednesday for or Thursday for Brent Watches this next episode.
Learning curve, baby.
Alrighty.
See you then.
How do I shut this thing off?
It's pretty new. I'm still figuring this thing out.
100 and some odd episodes in.
Don't know how to do